Welcome back, everybody, as I am here joined in the interview lounge by Xpeke and Ocelot, of course, two of our Spanish superstars here in the European LCS. So, Xpeke, let me start by asking you about that game. Just suffered a loss against SK Gaming. So what was the key factor that you guys didn't control?
The early game. The game was, I don't know. We did really good because we managed to actually stay in the game, but I think the early was awful. Every lane was behind. They got drakes, they got turrets, and the only reason why we stayed in the game so long is because I was split pushing, and I was doing really good. They were not able to get any objectives. Like they couldn't even take turrets that easily. Every time they took a turret as 5, I was able to take one alone. So that made us stay in the game for a long time, and I think we could have come back if we did. There were a couple of barons that we should have done better. One of them, we were a bit confused because we had vision on them, but we didn't see them attacking baron because they were like just standing there, and we thought, okay, let's just wait, and we didn't go in at all, and we lost it. And the other baron, we should just go in, but we hesitated a bit, and when we went, it was too late. They had it, and they took. They didn't take that much. It was hard for them to take turrets even with baron, but baron a bit of advantage. They did some damage on turret, and after 3 or 4 baron, they started to take inhibitor turrets, and yeah, we couldn't do anything. Last fight was like desperate fight. It was already over. We tried our best because we knew it was gonna be really hard, and we just engaged like we could really badly.
Yeah, Carlos, a very long game once again, despite having a very strong early game lead. So what was the difference here? You could close it out, and you didn't have against Lemon Dogs yesterday.
Well, I think our early game was very good. As Pekka said, we won actually every lane. But afterwards, we kind of felt like we couldn't finish, but I think we actually could. So I think it was more like we were a little bit too scared, I would say. And then whenever you give Fnatic your nail, they take your whole arm. So Pekka went bottom lane, got a lot of farm, got over farm. Like he almost reaches my farm as well, and we almost lose the bottom inhibitor as well by that. It's really hard to play against Fnatic. I think it's a team, for us at least, the hardest team to fight against, because even if you win this hard by 8k gold the early game, you still struggle. And I mean, you can ban Zed, you can ban TF, you can ban all the split push heroes that he will find, whatever he will find Evelynn, he will find whatever to split push with. So it's really hard. You just cannot ban. You cannot ban Fnatic split push. And they play it so well. Luckily, this time we won. I'm pretty happy about it. But we are still at the bottom, so.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about the importance of this game for both teams. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but for Fnatic, this loss, in the scheme of things right now, of course it's bad. But for SK, this was really a make or break moment, seeing the current being at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, you're right. I think it came to a point where half the season was already over. So we only had half the season in front. We really have to improve our gameplay. We really have to improve our tableau. And not winning this game would have been really bad for the league, really, really bad. And luckily we won it. Let's see if we can keep the momentum. I would actually love it. And as I said, if we would have lost it would have been such a catastrophe.
Broadening it out to the season a little bit more, SK and EG at the bottom of the standings, and people have said, EG, the main problem is they can't adapt to the Season 3 meta. Now, you being Fnatic, you had a great Season 1, bad Season 2, so how did you guys do it to adapt to what Season 3 is?
Well, I don't know. We practice a lot, but I don't think EG is having as many problems as people think. I just think other teams improves. Like, I don't know, EG, when they group, they were really good, and SK and us, we were really bad compared to them at that time. So it was like only Gambit or M5 at that time and EG. And yeah, they were the top two teams. But over the time, all the teams have improved so much. Now we have improved a lot. They have improved a lot. All these new teams that before they were not even playing have improved a lot. So I don't think it's just that they are playing bad or having problems to adapt. Of course, they make some mistakes sometimes like normal players. The thing is before they were step ahead, and now they are on the same line as everyone. They are not even that behind. They are like 3 losses behind. They are like 1 loss behind you, yeah, and 2 or 3 behind the 5th. And yeah, if one good weekend, they win 3 games, and someone loses 3 games, they could get top 4 even. So I don't think they are doing that bad or that they're having so many problems.
Talk to me a little bit maybe more about that, the fact that the playing ground has, even for a lot of teams, because of LCS, every team now that is in the LCS, of course, has the chance to have a coach, have a gaming house, have all that practice. So what is it that you specifically have to improve on now that everybody is on the same, on even?
Well, I think when it comes to this point where everybody plays this good, if you want to be a tiny bit better, you have to do this much. Like, you have to do so much more to get a little bit better. And it came to a point where everybody plays 12 hours a day, and you can only make the difference with the mindset, I think. And I don't know, having a good team spirit, I guess. So it's nothing about being talented, it's nothing about being skilled. Right now it's all about mindset, I think, because everybody puts the same amount of hours on it. It's really, really hard to be at the top. And you can see teams like AG, like SK, right now we are at the bottom, and the new teams are really up. I think, I honestly believe it's all about the mindset right now.
All right. Now, of course, you guys are two superstar mid laners here in Europe. So talk us a little bit about Season 3 and the changes for you guys, specifically in the mid lane. What has changed? What do you do now that you didn't do before? Which champions do you pick?
I play Ryze now. I never play Ryze. I practiced it like one day, and I found out that he was kind of broken. So that's the only hero I played that I didn't play before, because there was this time during Season 3 that it was about assassins, Kha'Zix, Zed, but that just went away. Now it's the same as before: Orianna, Ahri, Ryze, TF, and I don't know. That's pretty much all the heroes you see on mid lane nowadays. Or Jace is the only different one. So I don't know. I think it came like it's like it was before for me, like exactly the same. The only hero I don't play is Jace from the new ones, but the rest I play them and they are the same.
I actually like it a bit more right now, because when Kha'Zix was a little bit overpowered, with all the champions being overpowered as well, said before the nerfs, it was really, really painful. So luckily, I think things are changing. Probably this overfarm thingy that we saw in Season 2 is not going to happen that much now, because you can actually go more aggressive. But the difference with the Season 2 is basically different team play. Right now, people group up for more stuff. Right now, people understand the lanes way more. Season 2, only the Koreans actually knew how to lane swap properly. Right now, everybody knows. Like, even the worst LCS team or even one of the amateur teams can know it. No?
Even in solo queue, you see swapping.
Even in
sometimes.
solo queue, you see swapping, yeah. And everything develops in a way that everybody learns so fast. You watch the stream of myself or Peke or whatever, you can see a little thing he does. Then you do it. Then another guy in solo queue sees that you do it. You know, everything is developing so fast as the meta changes as well. So.
All right. Now, of course, guys, in a couple of days, I'll be heading to Tenerife for the event there. Now, as two Spaniards, you must be extremely excited to go and play on that stage. So, how excited are you?
I don't know. I have never been playing in a tournament with a full Spanish crowd. I don't know, like...
Must be crazy, actually.
Like yeah.
Because you actually go to Cologne and stuff. I mean,
yeah.
You go to anywhere in the world and you see everybody from other countries, you know?
I don't even know how to speak Spanish with, with a lot of people.
Like, I forgot totally.
Really, normally if I see someone that follows me and I speak to them, sometimes I meet someone that speaks Spanish, but not a full crowd speaking Spanish or something. I don't even know how they are going to pronounce our names, because it's totally different how they say it in English than in Spanish.
XPeque,
Ocelote, Fnatic, y el SK.
Yeah,
do you have faith that the crowd there will be the loudest we ever had?
Actually, Spanish people is really crazy, man. I hope Spanish people go nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I really hope so. Like you see when we went to Poland to Katowice and you did the Catherine thingy, which I hate you for that. Everybody was going crazy, you know. But I know Spain is gonna be better. People is gonna go nuts. I know that. España, os queremos.
Un saludo.
Right. Very much looking forward to seeing you guys on that stage in Tenerife, and thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
All right, now we are halfway through our day here, and there's still plenty more excitement to come. Coming up, we're going to have Lemondogs versus Alternate, and then later, Meet Your Makers will be taking on Evil Geniuses. So let's go over to D-Man and Freak, who will be our casters for the last two games of Week 5.
Thank you very much, Shox. I hope you people at home have just made a gif of those two holding the microphones upside down, because that's straight away there. It's like, you guys are doing this wrong. But next up it is, of course, Lemondogs. They are going to be playing up against Alternate, who are now able to take sole control of first place.
That's right, Demon. If they win this game, they are alone in first place. They're going to be above Game Up by a game. If they lose, though, they're back into the tie. So they're trying to just get control and prove that they're the best in Europe. They're almost there. Meanwhile, though, Lemondogs, if they win, they're in a three-way tie for third place. They're in a three-way tie with Fnatic and Ninjas in Pajamas. So they are right there being like, guys, remember us? We're awesome. We're still amazing. if they can win it, then they're there.
Yeah, the league standings really are bunching up once again because everybody is beating everyone. So let's check out, though, the lineup, of course, before we get things kicked off. It is, of course, going to be the blue team of Lemondogs. That means it's going to be Zoro in the top lane, Dexter, who has been amazing in the jungle lately, Nuke in the mid, Tabs as the AD carry, and Mithy, of course, the new support that joined him just a week ago.
And, of course, meanwhile, on the right side, it is alternate. Kerp in the top lane, Aranea in the jungle, Pharrellan Lord back in the mid lane, White Knight, the new starting AD carry. He actually has functioning hands. That helps you play in the starting lineup. And, of course, the support, Jayri.
Yeah, of course. You guys at home, you have been voting for who you think will take this one. So what does it look like?
Well, it's actually very, very one-sided. It's an 80-20 split here with alternate in the lead. And certainly you could expect that from the standings, but I think these teams are actually a whole lot closer as far as the actual teams go. But you have to take our word for it. You can still vote on the site, lolesports.com. You can vote for this match, the match tomorrow, and heck, the ones next week if you really want to. So click on matches in the top right and vote away.
Yeah, and Lemondogs, you know, they're no surprises to the odds being against them. Just the other week against Fnatic, it was 96% in favor of Fnatic. Lemondogs still managed to pick up the win nevertheless. Though the only time these teams have met so far was day 2 of DreamHack when Alternate handed the Lemondogs their very first loss in the LCS. That in itself should be enough motivation for Lemondogs to try and avenge themselves.
And of course, the Lemondogs have gone 3-1 since Mithy joined the team. They're very, very strong. That included the impressive comeback yesterday against SK Gaming, proving that, you know, every dog has his day sometimes. You know, they're a team you have to keep the pressure on because they are very, very good late game. It's one of their main strengths. But at the same time, Dexter, we talked about him a little bit ago, he is so good early game. He was the reason that they crushed Gambit in like 22 minutes just last week. So you've got to worry about Dexter early on. You've got to worry about their team comp late game.
Yeah, they did land a lot of cocoons that started things off. So how will Alternate approach this one? Of course, they've had 2 rough weeks, temporary roster changes. They're only 1-3 during that period, despite the fact, the irony is, that one win can against NIP, who are looking unstoppable right now.
It's weird, and it's like so tempting to blame the new guy. It's easy to blame White Knight, but he held his own yesterday. He's actually, aside from really one rough game against Gambit, he's been more or less holding up as a player. So it's not on him, it's on the team, and they've got to sort of reclaim their confidence. Alternate are the #1 team in the LCS. They've got to get back to their aggressive style and feel comfortable again, or they've got to find a new style and make that work. We're halfway through the split, and they're faltering. They've got to find something.
So, of course, we have chosen this game to be our featured matchup because it is all about the junglers, honestly. There they are on your screens. Dexter and Aranea, they have been phenomenal in their own ways so far.
Yeah, they're actually both very aggressive junglers, and they like these highly technical ones. Lee Sin is actually a big one. You saw Dexter pick that up just yesterday against SK, and Ara thinking that's going to be a really important one. Elise, another popular one as well. Ara hasn't been playing it much, but it's something that got banned out. It's something he knows he wants to bring in there. Dexter's Elise also was, again, amazing. It's the reason that they beat Gambit a little while ago. And so, again, they're both early game aggressive junglers. It's interesting because they perform different roles for the teams, though. So for Alternate, they're just an aggressive team overall, and so Ari just kind of meshes into that really, really easily. For Dexter, he kind of carries their early game and allows them to get to late game. So to me, it's basically whichever jungler does better is going to dictate how this game goes and determines who's actually going to win the game.
And I'll be interested to see what Aranea thought of the Lee Sin that there's just Hercubot just played as well, because that's, I think, the first time it's kind of worked successfully when it's not been Aranea so far in the European LCS. Of course, if you guys at home have been watching the OGN or the LPL this morning, you will have seen a lot of Lee Sin. So definitely getting a lot of love throughout the European and the Korean scene. Don't see an awful amount of it in America still.
You see a little bit. Meteos plays it somewhat, and it's kind of like his third go-to jungler there from Cloud9. In general, though, it's funny because talking to Aranea, he said that Lee Sin is like, if you're a jungler, it is the one champion you must learn.
Yes.
This is the one jungle champion you must be able to play.
I think he took that off Diamond and Insect. They both said the same thing.
Well, sure. And I mean, R is a really, really smart guy, and he has his own sort of tier list of jungler, as in the players. He'll point to a guy and be like, you know, this is like watching the Korean games, but this is a player I'm better than. This is the best jungler in the world right here, and it's not Insect, by the way.
No, it's
yeah, we're gonna be bad at this. Let's move on before we sound stupid.
I can't remember his name.
It is a Korean guy, but he, you know, he's very well researched, and Ara is just so important for their team. He does a lot of the research. Actually, he pulled his team in and watched the Lemondogs SK game this morning and was pointing out things that they would do in champ select and things to be aware of.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are underway for the picks and bans. So, Shen, Lissandra, and Nunu being taken away. No surprises there, of course. We've seen Kerp running, well, Frellenlord's been running Lissandra non-stop. Kerp's been running Shen non-stop. It's amazing. He can the player of the games with that trackball. Elise, Zed, and Rise also being banned out by Alternate.
Yeah, so TF and Lee Sin are really important ones right here. These are the two that you really want to think about. Twisted Fate, it was first picked last time for Lemondongs. They still want it. It's going to be yep, there we go. RNA is going to insta-lock Lee Sin. He knows that it was going to get taken in the next round of picks by Lemondogs. Wanted to make sure he got it.
Look at the smile on his face.
Yeah, he knew. This was specifically what he said. He said they first pick Twisted Fate and they go for Lee Sin right after. If we leave them TF, I can get Lee Sin.
Ooh, Dexter looking at maybe switching to a Diamond Prox Udyr. Interesting that he actually, we've seen little tweets about from St. Vicious as well, talking about the fact that he's tried the Tiger stance that Diamond Prox has been using, didn't really get on with it, went back to the Phoenix.
Yeah, well, it's really a style choice here. We actually see it just be very, very different. A Phoenix Udyr is actually much better at wave clearing and pushing waves out, of course. They're going for Jarvan instead, so we don't need to talk about it too much. Yep. But they've actually already picked both solos and their jungle here. So now Lemondogs have shown their hand, and an alternate can say, I know exactly what you can bring to us in the mid lane and the top lane, and we can pick whatever we want to counteract this. And
it's interesting to see Zoraziri is going to play Kennen. This is... I'm wondering whether it's a champion we've seen him playing before. I'm trying to think back. There's been that many games that start to meld into one, but I know for a fact it definitely wasn't in the first few weeks because all he played was Malphite.
Well, the thing is, he plays a lot of casters, though, right?
Yes.
Rise and Lissandra are two of his most played as well, so I can't imagine he's a stranger to Kennen, whether it's just being an AP damage champion in general or just dealing with skill shots. So Alternate, though, taking a lot of long-range stuff here. They've got the Jace, they've got the Ezreal, they've got so much poke here to deal with this, which... you know, honestly, is not the strongest thing in the world because Lemondogs already have good engage. So Lemondogs are already ready to deal with Jace.
Well, their picks and bans are coming in thick and fast. And obviously, like you say, the Jace is in there. White Knight going with Ezreal. We haven't seen him as an AD carry in the LCS just yet. I tell a lie. Played yesterday. Yeah. We did see him. But it's looking like Tabs, once again, Caitlyn. This is kind of his go-to champion. And Sona alongside him. Just did that on purpose.
They like trolling him. Is it Jungle Castle? Is it Jungle Castle? Kobe, is it? It is not. It is Varus picked up here. So again, going for long range and crowd control. And we've seen these types of compositions more and more, I feel, in Europe especially, but also in these last few weeks where they're grabbing the Sona, the Varus, the Kennen, a lot of area of effect crowd control. So Nidalee coming in, again, this tells you a very obvious team composition here for Alternate. They're going for the poke. I would expect ability power Nidalee more so than Bruiser Nidalee here. You've got, again, the Jace, the Ezreal. They're all good at this. And the Thresh can even disengage pretty well. Put the box down, run backwards. You've got to run through those walls. It'll slow you down. They're able to disengage. However, Lemondogs, they've got Jarvan and they've got Twisted Fate. Those guys are very good at making fights start. And Alternate can't easily push them away. So the battles can begin if Lemondogs wants. If Lemondogs gets an early lead, they can force the issue constantly throughout this game.
And if you get a flash crescendo, there's not a great deal to get everyone away from you. I mean, you're going to have the hammer coming out from Jace, which at the moment is on Kerp. We're not too sure whether it's going to be top lane or mid lane. We'll see whether that switches any last minute changes. I'm looking at the screen. Doesn't look like he's ready to transfer it, so that's going to be sticking in that lane. I guess really the only thing that they're going to have to prevent them is the box from Thresh.
And, you know, yeah, they've got those two knockbacks. They're going to rely on the box. White Knight did pick up Cleanse here. He knows he's facing a lot of crowd control, and Ezreal getting caught as a dead Ezreal. So smart choice there. But this is really the reality we're at here is Alternate looking to hold on to their first place spot right here. A win gives them sole control at the end of... we're now more than halfway through the split at this point. Frellenlord on that Nidalee, you know, the Jace from Kerp, they're going to play long-range poke, and they're going to do whatever they can to not get caught out by these abilities. And it's difficult. Playing a poke comp in high-level competitive play is just an exercise in how well coordinated are you guys, and how well can you get away when they jump on you.
Well, one thing that Alternate do is crazy, chaotic play, and maybe they're going to have control of the start of the game. It's all about really getting ahead in the poke comps as well, because if you fall behind with a poke comp, you're never really going to come back.
Exactly. You don't have the tools to 5-on-5 successfully, especially when you face like a Kennen Varus Sona lineup here. It is all on RNA, right? They are all pretty much late game focused champions, and especially when you take Cleanse in lane as an AD carry, you actually lose to someone who takes barriers. So when he fights Tabs, it'll be harder for White Knight here. So it is on Aura to carry the early game here for Alternate. Lemondogs, though, they've got aggressive gankers and good lanes for fighting. Varus, Sona, Kennen, and Twisted Fate, they're all good at following up on Jarvan ganks. And so I expect Lemondogs to make more good things happen early.
Interesting start from RNA. Not going for that Dawn's Blade either, which we have seen a lot of Lee Sins doing lately, but keep our eye on how he goes with that one. Lemondog's looking to go for a bit of an invade here. They want to get that ward down, and Alternate can see them. They have full vision of them. They're not going to be drawn out too much. That was the Explorer ward, I believe, that went down there, so not too worried about losing that one. Of course, they didn't want to lose it completely. Nevertheless, it is gone, and that is going to be a successful ward. I guess technically, I hate to say, but that's a successful invade these days for Lemondogs, just to get in and get that ward, because everybody doesn't really engage with the fights anymore. Not in Europe, at least.
You pretty much engage for a fight if you're setting up a trap somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, headlong diving in, people tend to see you coming because anyone who waits around in their jungle tends to get a ward watching you come in. So no one gets to invade through the fog of war, basically, unless you do a late invade here. And again, similar thing, right? They run back, they put the ward down, seeing if Lemondogs goes in for blue buff, that Alternate will know about this. They actually use the pink ward there, so this tells me Lemondogs really wants to invade towards the blue. The problem is, there's a ward just next to it there, right by the river, that still lets them see if Lemondogs goes in.
Well, we'll see whether that's what they go for. They will be starting off at red. It looks like Ultimate are going to be starting off, and you see the win rate's only half for the tabs. Like I said, he can place Caitlyn. He should stick with Caitlyn, maybe. 50% win rate and 4 games. Maybe he should stick around on that Caitlyn. Who knows? He was very successful when he used it in DreamHack, but we are seeing the red buff being started off. That's going to be Dexter picking that up. The red buff also was started off by Aranea. Neither using the smite, it seems. So I'm going to just double check that. Yeah, nobody using the smite, so they're going to be saving it for the blue, and it's not going to be an invade. Looks like Dexter is going up towards his own.
All right, so it turns out that pink ward doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. It doesn't open too many doors for these guys, but that's fine. We look at the bottom lane here, and I feel like this is a better lane for Lemondogs, unless hooks land like that.
The hook goes straight in on tabs, but it wasn't a good trade for White Knight because Mithy went straight aggressive, and actually it was White Knight that came out worse off.
Yeah, so that's what happens if you land a hook. You can't auto-attack anymore as Thresh. So he got his 60 damage from the Q, but then Mithy is still able to deal damage and use the Q and start poking out. And there's no sustain here for the alternate lane. White Knight does have some lifesteal. He's actually got 6% from Quintessences, so it's as much as he can get from runes. They're going to keep going in, though.
They went in with the Flay. The exhaust was used, and then Mithy taking some damage as well. White Knight got exhausted straight away by Mithy, so good counter work. And both these lanes going aggressive the moment they hit level 2.
But now there's actually a summoner spell advantage here for Alternate. White Knight has both his summoners, Tabs has lost his flash. So despite the sustain being so good for Lemondogs, Alternate did all their moves before Sona hit 2, so that they had to burn summoners because they were not going to have any health bars otherwise. So good early moves here from this Thresh.
Oh, a lot of pressure in the mid lane as well. Nukeduck, we see Dexter coming in to help him out there. Maybe trying to force something on Pharrell Lord here. He has, of course, got double buffs, so they could try and catch him out. See whether he does linger around. Yeah, he's being forced away. The stun card does get pulled out, forces the flash straight away. Dexter continues to follow the wild card, doing the damage. And Frontlord very low in this mid lane.
It's a really, really impressive move there by Lemondogs. There's 2 reasons this works so well. Number 1, this Nidalee only brought 2 health potions to lane right there, right? Just has the Doran's Ring. Actually, it might have been actually Doran's Ring plus Ward and relied on his heal because he's already out of health. So, and also she's bad at last hitting on turret. So by putting Dexter in the lane and shoving the wave down, you deny minions. You have 19 to 10 in minion kills in that lane because they were able to push Frontlord to his turret, which is a really good start here for Lemondogs.
Well, we didn't get a chance to look at the top lane much, but they have just gone back to buy, and we're seeing Zoro now picking up the Doran's Blade. Interesting that he started with the shield, because often we see them starting with the blade on Kennen. So he then went with a different option there. Knew he was up against Jace, expected a little bit of poke.
Yeah, exactly. You've got just, you know, a ranged lane versus a ranged lane, and honestly, when you've got so much poke out there from Jace, it's a little bit hard to deal with. And you opened with the Fairy Charm as well, just to get more spam out there. It's a good thing to do. And the one cool thing to also realize when you fight a Jace is that Hypercharge splits his attack into 3 attacks, and each one of those will get blocked by the Doran's Shield unique passive. So it's sort of relative value goes up if you buy it against Jace. You'll block more damage that way.
At the moment, all lanes not finding massive advantages. It's really only that mid lane that's got that big advantage. Frontlord still hasn't been forced back yet. He's trying to keep that wave pushed out. You see Nukeduck going aggressive every time he gets a chance. Throwing out the mana cards though, keeping him his mana sustained. Doing a very good job of controlling Frontlord so far.
He just has better trade damage. The only damage Frontlord has is based off of skill shots, whereas Nukeduck can land a gold card into the queue or just land the blue card and just deal more trade damage here. And you're seeing Nukeduck save his cooldown on the pick a card to say, if you ever go on me, I can out-trade you and make your life miserable.
Did see a little attempt maybe from Dexter there. He actually snuck into the bush without being spotted, but they have backed off, so there's not going to be a gank coming out from certainly this side, we are seeing Aranea sneaking down there, though, so maybe he's going to try and sneak in. You can see 80% win rate for Aranea on Lee Sin. Certainly was very successful in the opening weeks, and now they're going to go on towards Tabs. They're going to have the hook. Still hasn't been used there. Won't be a kill. It's going to be Aranea that lands first blood. Can they get the second one? Mithy's going to have to run for this one. The hook come out. Oh, it forces the flash from Mithy, but that's a Summoner Spell burn, and that was first blood for Alternate.
That was beautiful coordination right there. They knew Tabs' flash was down. We talked about that Summoner Spell advantage earlier in the game. The level 1 moves. Oh, here comes the gank on Ferelyn.
They're going to dive in, but Ferelyn managed to get exhaust down on Nukeduck just as it started. I'm not too sure whether he's going to go down. The Ignite will run, but they are going to get a lot of pressure on the turret. Ferelyn sticking around. Dangerous play.
But the flash is still up for Nukeduck, and Mithy's going to get caught out. He's dead.
The Flay comes in. It's Aranea that's going to go in, but White Knight takes the kill. That's what they needed, and that's both kills in the bottom lane now.
He's got to be careful. Nukeduck again has flash. Yeah, Ferelyn has to jump away from the minion wave. He's got to hide away from this. There's just an advantage here. Nukeduck, with his E prime, can still dive forward if he wanted to. They say, no, we just want pressure on the turret. That's fine.
Well, Dexter's just close to hitting 6 as well. He could just slide in, get that Cataclysm down. Ferelyn surely realizes that the winning wave has been wiped out there, so he's not going to get it this time. Holds off, but there's a lot of damage on that mid turret already.
Yeah, and that is Dexter making just a lot of moves towards it, knowing it is a winning lane for them here. And you see that Ferelyn picked up Exhaust because he knows he needs the Summoner Spell to not get all in, right? Something that can lower the damage up as he can get away. And it's going to be hard for him for a very, very long time until he gets tier, until he gets maybe a Chalice and can spam his health back up. He doesn't have enough mana to keep it full health.
Well, Nukeduck realizing his spider sense is tingling. He's thinking, why is Ferelyn hanging around this low? Misses the Q though, Aranea, so he's not going to go in towards this one. The stun card was there. Nukeduck just strolls away from that one, but there's a 20 CS build difference there. There's also, however, a 20 CS difference for Tabs over White Knight, despite the fact White Knight's got that kill.
That is just a stronger lane. The level 1 opening was so good from Alternate, but then there was no sustain left. White Knight was stuck kind of on the back foot, getting poked out a lot, and didn't have good tools to re-engage or get himself back in the lane. It was a really well-coordinated gank with Aura, and it got them a lot closer. The gold actually basically identical between these AD carries, but it's a better lane for Lemondogs, honestly.
Yeah, there's also Zoro Zero is winning out the top lane against Kerp as well in terms of farm. He's got himself quite a healthy lead there right there. We are seeing Ferelyn going a little bit aggressive on Nukeduck. Does manage to pounce in there, doesn't get the claws on towards him. And the blue buff this time will be given across. So Ferelyn actually has stuck around for a very long time in this mid lane. Didn't go back despite being taken very low, just continuing to sustain himself with his own little heals.
And now the lane's going to get a lot better for Ferelyn because he can constantly wave clear, keep Twisted Fate stuck back. Good read by Lemondogs. They're going to get caught anyway.
He's going to go back in for Mithy. Did throw the Chain of Corruption out from Tabs there. They get the Flay onto Mithy. Mithy surely in trouble now. He's going to get kicked, punted straight back in by Aranea. That would be the kill. It's Aranea that takes it.
Absolutely beautiful. There's the flash done into Ferelyn.
Is it going to be enough? The wildcard's coming through, and Ferelyn just pounces away from that one again. He's sticking around. The spears going towards Nukeduck. They're going to start doing a lot more damage as the game goes on.
And having Boots of Speed there in the bottom lane was so useful there. Aranea picking it up, allowing him to get into range to land the Q and start everything out. And this, of course, gives them the numbers advantage they needed to take the Dragon down. Ara's going to get his team a good gold lead because of ganking bottom twice.
Well, Dexter hasn't got flash available, so I'll be surprised if he goes to this one. Will it be worth it? They are going to try the Piercing Arrow steal. Didn't work out this time around. Tabs has done it in the past, but Aranea uses that smite to secure it.
Good job there, Lee Sin. Of course, having the execute damage as well makes it even easier to last hit that properly. Can get it down to like 800, 900 health, land Q2, then smite afterwards. So well played there. Ara knowing his champion obviously very well, as we looked at it before. 80% win rate on Lee Sin. So Alternate, with an early game lead of the poke comp, is exactly where you guys want to be. Even though some of the lanes are rough, I think they're in the right place.
Well, first tower of the game goes down. It is that mid lane. We've seen the pressure coming out from Nukeduck and Dexter, and it's worked out wonders for them. That means Ferelyn is without a tower, without that safety net in that mid, and taking a lot of vision. There is actually pings going on him. Dexter's still lingering. He maybe wants to make a gank on Ferelyn in the mid lane.
We'll see if he can do it. The TF ult comes out. They're going to go for Ferelyn.
That's going to be the stun card, but the exhaust once again coming straight out from Ferelyn. This time Cataclysm's there. He has got Aranea to try and turn this one around. They're going to pounce back in once again. Ferelyn taking low. Oh, the wild card catching on towards him. Throws out that javelin, not quite in the full range. And Aranea keeps him away once again.
Absolutely impressive by Aranea to be there for the counter gank at the same time. Smart by Ferelyn not to get too greedy. He could have tried to execute Dexter, but it's AP Nidalee. She is not very durable, does not have any bonus health, except for that Doran's Ring there, realizing that Nukeduck could have killed her with double Doran's Ring and Sork Shoes. So smart disengage, and now both mid laners will have blue buff.
Yeah, blue buff, as you say, picked up by Nukeduck. Top lane, though, Kerp is falling a long way behind in terms of CS. He has, of course, got that Tear of the Goddess and built towards that Brutalizer, so I expect he'll probably start catching back on there. All spear landing on Nukeduck this time around from Pharrell and Lord. He's starting to keep the aggression on towards the turret himself, but 92 to 70, that's a big little built up by Zoro. I'm impressed with that.
That is absolutely massive. That's honestly, a lot of that is the skill of Zoro. He's playing it very, very well, but also after they did their first couple of buys, you really saw the items differentiate a lot. Going for Tear does not give you any combat stats. You can't... Oh, here comes the fight, though.
The Chain of Corruption going down, as well as the Crescendo on Jerry. He's put the box down, and that defends him just long enough with that shield of his own. And a surprise, Lemondogs with the double ultimate layer didn't quite work out so well for them.
And they just don't quite have really the damage they need. The Crescendo coming back across the, the box, the True Shot barrage. They all just traded a bunch of blows and realized, we actually don't burst hard enough anyway. So the point I was making about that top lane, though, the Tear of the Goddess pickup, I want to compare the item builds, basically. So Zoro, Doran's Shield, Doran's Blade, Haunting Guise. Those are all items you buy for early game power and help him win the lane a heck of a lot. It's really, really easy for them. Now on the other side though, Kerp, right, went for an early Tear, didn't even pick up boots. Unless you're Ryze, Tear of the Goddess doesn't help you win your lane. So he has 800 gold worth of items with 2 longswords, and he's fighting against a guy who's got 2,000 to 2,500 gold in combat items. So Zoro is definitely going to scale ahead that way.
There's a sound problem for Kerp. You can see them fiddling with the cables. Despite the fact all the players are like, it's the magic trackball. It's playing up. The trackball seems fine. I think it's just a sound issue. It seems like he's happy. That's going to be fixed, so we're going to get the resume in just a moment. But doing a very good job, despite trackball and all. Kerp's struggling out right now against Zoro, 98 to 75, as you mentioned. The junglers, though, they both doing a fantastic job. We talked about it as the featured matchup earlier on. Dexter really doing a fantastic job. We've seen him pushing in the mid lane, helping out with Nukeduck, but also Aranea. Again, on Lee Sin, you've got to get those kills going early, and sure enough, he's helped out that bottom lane, got 2 kills.
And they've had different impacts in the game. It's easy to point at Aranea and say he's 2-0-1. He's clearly out-jungled Dexter, who's 0-0-0, but that's not really the case. So Aura has gotten his team kills in the bottom lane, and that is great. That's really good play by Aura. But Dexter has gotten a minion kill lead and a turret kill for his involvement in the mid lane. His score doesn't reflect it, but he has had almost as much impact from his plays so far. So the junglers are trading pretty equal right here, and you're seeing that. The gold is identical between these teams despite the 3-0 kill lead. So it's still, it's how the teams play the composition in the mid game and how they play in the late game that will determine who wins here.
Oh, we can see Kerp's return to lane. He's got himself that Manamune, so he wants to build it up quickly off the basic attacks. Of course, that's the advantage he will have there. We're also seeing White Knight. He's gone for the Tear of the Goddess as well, so looks like it will be Blue Ezreal, as it's also pretty much become known, pretty much become a standard build, honestly, for Ezreals these days, unless you are perhaps Creaton, who used to play it differently, who White Knight, ironically, is replacing.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because now it's not even Blue Ezreal anymore so much, because they're always getting... they're not doing the Elder Lizard anymore because of the nerfs to the attack damage, making it more of a jungle item than a laning item. It's like purple and blue, it's like violet Ezreal. So, I feel like it's a misnomer at this point.
Absolutely. We are seeing pretty close CS between the two, though. True Shot Barrage is like, no, I'm not going to let you back just there. This is your own vision. It's not going to happen. And Tams and Mithy, well, Tams kind of low on mana, wants to go back, wants to spend some of that gold, wants to get that Bloodthirster completed, it seems. And it's not just allowing him to do it right now. We are seeing Aranea coming around, looking towards, see if he can get towards that blue buff, but it is already taken. I believe it's Nukeduck that has that one. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, he has got it on him, so Kerp at the moment sticking around in that tri-bush. This little jewel in this top lane is going heavily in favor of Zoro. 123 CS to 88. That's a big lead, despite the fact we've not seen the junglers up here at all.
It's 35 minions right now. Again, the itemization helping Zoro a heck of a lot, and that number does keep growing. 35. Keep that number in the back of your heads. If that number gets higher or lower, it'll tell you how the lane is going from this point onward. Of course, the blue buff being picked up by Alternate, they were actually grabbed at very different times during the game, and that last ward that went down, they knew that Nukeduck had already had blue, they knew it wasn't up just yet, but that ward will last long enough to see when the blue does respawn. And so Alternate will probably try to stab for that blue up in about 2 minutes when it does come back.
Interesting for Lemondogs here. In terms of towers, you can see just how much damage Zoro has done to that top turret. He's nearly taken that down. Mid turret's already gone. Bottom turret's not had a great deal done towards it. We are seeing Alternate backing off, so they're not purposely pushing that bottom lane. So they're happy just to, again, like you said, play for that late game, draw the game out longer, keep the lane phases going as long as possible.
And because they have such good fighters in the bottom lane, because of Thresh and Lee Sin having such great synergy, honestly, they've chosen to take Dragon instead of Turret. You're seeing it come back very, very soon. Expect to see RNA come down for that, because Dragon will spawn before that blue buff does. And so that'll be Aura's first trip, probably to the bottom lane, try to force that down, get another kill, shove the wave, and then again try to take Dragon down, and here they go.
Well, they see where they're going to go. They're going to try and get them wards out, trying to get the coverage. Spears being thrown out from Frel, not landing. And he's actually just been forced to back away. They are going to try and engage on Frel a little bit, but realise problem with Nidalee. It's very tricky to pin down. Once he starts getting to that stage, he can just switch forms, pounce away. Oh, that hook landing actually from Jeremy. He goes in for it on towards Tabs. The play's there. White Knight's going to follow up on it, but here comes Nukeduck. Suddenly throws out the Dark Lance, and Jeremy's in trouble. He's going to have Aaron Air coming in with the safeguard, but now Aaron Air is in trouble. He kicks one away. Is it going to be enough to turn it around, though? The spear's not landing on Dexter, and it's alternate that, oh, he does manage to land the same spear. White Knight goes aggressive. True Shot Barrage misses out to the side. Now they're going to throw the spears towards Nukeduck. Alternate continuing to follow on this one. It is just a 3v4. You wouldn't believe it's Alternate that have the number disadvantage because they're the ones doing the chasing.
And they're almost doing enough damage to have control over Dragon at the end of the day right here, because those javelins are doing so much. It's on Tabs to land one more piercing arrow to bring the health bars low enough, but blue buff freaking Nidalee heals so much that they're staying full health. They're going to go for another snipe on a Tabs.
Tries to throw the spear out, didn't land it, and again, as two of them actually pinned on the turret, Mithy's just going to keep sidestepping. They're not giving up on this one because while this is happening, they're taking the Dragon down. It's just Aaron Air and White Knight just managed to take it themselves. There's going to be the spears thrown out. For Eleanor playing defensive quarterback duties around the side. There's not quarterback, he's not going to be defensive, is he?
Safety, maybe?
I don't know those terms. It's just goalkeeper. That'll do.
Take a sweeper, a stopper, whatever you want.
Go with football terms. I'm better with them.
You did use football terms.
Towards the end, yeah. Sweep has not been used in football for a long time.
Oh, okay. Well, that shows when I last played.
Yeah. Nevertheless, anyway, we're getting distracted. What you were talking about was 35, the magic number in the top lane. That has extended to 50 now.
Oh dear, so it's still going 0-0's way. For what it's worth, the Manamune is stacking up right here. It's up to 576 for Kerp. So he is about to hit a power spike here. He's building towards his last Whisper. He's still kept this turret alive, which is good for him. But 0-0 is going to be a huge menace. He was not pulled down to defend the Dragon. He's not going to get caught here either. But so Lemondogs have specifically let this lane stay. They could have pulled 0-0 down, used the Slicing Maelstrom to like guarantee a Dragon pickup. And Lemondogs do not care. They said, look, stay up there, beat your lane, eventually wear down that turret, and we'll get a team fight later on this game. Lemondogs love to play late game. They're still looking for it.
Well, Blue Buff will go to Nukeduck, and he's going to come across to this mid. And Frelnlord's doing good work on this mid turret now, despite the fact he lost his early on. Can't seem to be beaten out of lane. He has got himself his CS up alongside Nukeduck. That's just going to trade back and forth between the two. In terms of CS in the bottom lane as well, Tabs has actually been caught back up by White Knight now. He was a long way behind at one point as well. He was around about 20 CS difference between those two. So White Knight doing a good job of getting himself back in the game there. Aaron Air just had to use his ulti kick in that top lane. White Knight taken very low. He's going to use the True Shot Barrage on Mithy, but Mithy turns it around with a crescendo, drops him down. There's going to be Nukeduck coming in. The ultimate use. Piercing arrow comes out from Tabs, who was a kill for J-Ree, but nevertheless, that was a 2-for-1 trade to Lemondogs.
Great poke coming out from the Lemondogs right there. Tabs and Mithy constantly just wearing them down, and then said, hey, he's low enough. He's channeling his freaking True Shot Barrage. Just hit him with abilities. He'll fall over right there. Alternate able to react with the turret, though. This is a very, very good move for them. Normally, a poke comp is weak early on, but they're able to find some places to counter-engage, and that helps them stick on.
Oh, it's going to be a Cataclysm jump in, but both of them, obviously, you can see Frelnor just pounces out, and quick safeguard from Aaron Air. That's not really what you want to see when you get that Cataclysm in there. So I've got him. No, I haven't.
And look at this top lane. Kerp is actually dealing decent damage to 0-0. That top lane turret as well, down to only 231. So again, the Manamune stacking up right there. It's giving him 53 attack damage from that item. On top of the Brutalizer giving another 25. On top of the Longsword giving another 10. So Kerp actually hits quite hard here. If he's ever left alone, and we did see Arnea spend some time top lane to try to force 0-0 out, he can bring those structures down.
Oh, we see 0-0 putting down that Tribush ward. There is Dexter in there now. This is the first time I feel that he's actually come to visit this lane. to pay a bit of attention to Kerp. He does have Aranea, though, sneaking in the background, and this could be a gank for both of them. I'm not too sure who's going to be the more surprised, though. Aranea is ready and waiting. He's going to come across. He's not showing himself. Now he is. They're going for Zoro Zero, taking him very low as well. He was the focus target, but instead they're going to turn on to Dexter. Dexter tries to slide away. That's his combo used, though, and now Aranea is going to be able to land that Q. Trichot Barrage comes across from downtown of the map. They're not going to land it, and it is just going to be a safe withdrawal for Lemondogs.
So many cool things happened right there. Number one is Aranea actually waited until basically Kennen engaged, actually joined that fight, and kicked him out mid-slicing Maelstrom, nullifying a lot of that ultimate. The second thing, though, is because Dexter has had a good early game, he has 10% cooldown reduction and a maxed rank Q, which lets him actually jump to his flag twice. And you saw that right there. He managed to get out by jumping to the flag again. Tabs, though, he's a little scared.
Well, he's thinking of going aggressive, and then he thought, oh, I just took a second spear. I best not fight this one. Oh, we are seeing Nukeduck. Where's he going? He's had to use his ultimate. He's thinking of coming down, but he spots out. Instead, he's just going to go back to the mid lane. Realize that White Knight was en route. Nukeduck thought about coming in defensive duties, but Tabs successfully backs away just with the help of that ulti.
So interesting build choice here by Nukeduck himself, actually. He rushed for a Rabadon's Death Cap. This is the item you buy when you want to kill off minions as fast as possible. There's a lot of possible openings for Twisted Fate. He wants to kill away minion waves. He knows he's fighting a Nidalee who is constantly sweeping minions out, just like that. You see them evaporate by pressing RWE and then gets the rest pretty easily afterwards. And he wants to stop the minion destruction from happening here. He wants to keep his turrets alive as much as possible, but Alternate have other plans.
Yeah, they have other plans. They want to rush down these turrets. They've stuck around long enough. They are one turret down right now. Their Spear's not really finding their home, but looking in the mid lane, Lemondogs actually grouping together here. Zoro Zero and Nukeduck. Kerp's got full vision of them, but they're trying to close around on towards this bottom lane combo.
They've got him surrounded.
3 members of Alternate, they are surrounded. We're going to see them coming straight in towards it. Slicing Maelstrom is available. Jayree's going to have to use his box very wisely. Throws out the Dark Passage. It's going to be pulled by Friendlord. They've escaped very nicely.
Absolutely amazing play right there. They made him decide who you're going to go for, and they split apart. Arcane Shift is available, the Lantern pulled back the Nidalee as well, and that's one of the weaknesses of Kennen, is the area's only so big, he had to choose someone, and they pulled the last one away.
Very well played there from honestly, both well played by both. That piercing arrow landing on Fereldenlord, doing a lot of damage as well from Tabs. That tends to be what they level these days. You can see he's got 5 stacks in piercing arrow. Pretty standard build there coming out from Varus. Fereldenlord again taking another arrow. Not to the knee, though, just to the face.
No, maybe later on he'll take one to the knee, and then keep taking one to the knee over and over and over again. So I love the adaptations that Lemondogs have made. They know they're against a poke composition, and so they have ludicrously good wave clear. As they saw the champions come in, they picked around it. Again, the Rabadon's Death Cap, Twisted Fate, the Varus maxing Q, and Jayree getting caught should be able to get away.
Oh, the exhaust use forced the flash out. He was just trying to get in and get those wards for the Dragon. They do have 2 members. It is Fereldenlord going to try and steal this away with a spear. We're going to see it just flashing off the side of the screen. Nope, not going to get there in time. That was closed out. Dexter did use the smite, but it was the Nukeduck wild cards that finished the deal.
So there we go, Lemondogs finally deciding, okay, we're going to start fighting here. We've got enough items, specifically the Zhonya's Hourglass on Zoro Zero, allows them to start really bullying their opponents around. The Aegis as well coming in from Dexter. This is the big power spike that Lemondogs wanted to wait for before they started really looking for things on the fight, and they've got it.
Yeah, meanwhile, we do see Kerp. His Mana Mune has converted into his Mirror Mana.
Oh, he got it!
Aranea sneaks in, gets the steal, and just walks away like nothing happened, safeguarding onto Jayree. And now we're seeing Alternate. They are grouped up, and the siege may well begin.
Here we go. No blue buff on Nukeduck really helps them here. Double Thorns Rings will help somewhat, but now the test is how well do Tabs and Nukeduck get rid of minions?
Well, we're going to see Dexter coming in there. The hook gets thrown out, lands. They don't follow up on it, though. Chain of Corruption does land. Crescendo layered perfectly on there. Jayree safeguard straight away for Aranea. He's going to get dropped. It's both supports are down, though. But in comes Zoro Zero around the side. Can he get his Slicing Maelstrom in the right position? He catches on to Bronze Fereldenlord. We see just down the bottom. That's Kerp getting taken down there. Fereldenlord taken low. White Knight taken low. He's going to get stunned off. It's going to be Tabs. Nukeduck comes in, cleans house, and it's just Aranea, the only man to survive. Brilliant play from Lemondogs. That's a pincer move.
Absolutely amazing. It really, really was a great pincer move right there. The just amount of catch they have, and Nukeduck saving his ultimate to use it later on in the fight. crowd control is the #1 bane of a poke composition. They tend to be squishy champions. Aura tried to knock them back. You saw his kick come through onto Dexter, I believe, but there was just too much there. The Varus ult from Tabs, the Flash ult coming in from Mithy on Sona, that's all needed to lock down the team. Zoro0 came in. It was a nice hit by Forellenlord. He actually exhausted Kennen and kind of soloed the Slicing Maelstrom, but it was too little too late. The damage had already been dealt, and the cleanup was just there for Lemondogs.
Brilliant, brilliant play. So Alternate, they were being the aggressor, and it backfired on them, and that's going to give them a worry, because that's what they're all about. They have to get that siege going, but I think that may well tell them, yeah, we're going to need a little bit better ward control around that jungle next time we do this, because they just completely caught us off guard. In terms of CS, we are seeing Kerp actually closing the gap a little, because now that he's got that strength in his Shock Blast, he can clear those waves very, very quickly. It is still a big gap, though. 40 CS behind, 45 CS in the mid lane. Still very close between Nukeduck and Forellenlord in terms of kills and gold. You can see it's just about a 500 gold difference, and the AD carries very, very tight between those. Just 200 gold separating the two.
You did just see a very one-sided fight, but you're right. This is still a close game. You can almost never count a poke comp out as long as they're within maybe 10% gold, which they are right here, which is good for Alternate because there's no alternative. They've got to play poke. They've got to basically at some point group up again, because their 2-on-2s aren't great unless they land every skill shot ever. Their 5-on-5s rely on the basically Jace disengage, which is the one thing I didn't actually count in the pregame, is the acceleration gate is going to be so key for this team to run away. If they can't actually be grouped up, instead of being split up like they were last time, they can run away via the Kerp acceleration gate and get away from Ken and everything else.
Oh, White Knight getting caught out there. Has got Arcane Shift just at the right time, because we saw Chain of Corruption come out from Tabs. Was about to land the moment he switched.
So there we go. The stab is on, though. It's really Lemondogs trying to force an engage right here, because they know a real 5-on-5 that Alternate tries to jump into is in Lemondogs' favor. So baiting around the Baron, trying to sweep out wards. The Oracle's already there. This is Lemondogs trying to find a tightly grouped team fight where Kennen excels.
Well, we see the spears continuing to go from Forellenlord. They may well have bought themselves a bit of a window here to push down the mid lane. That's what they're going to go for. Dexter does get hooked on RNA, doesn't follow it up, yo. The spears continue to get on towards the back of Dexter. You can see how tanky he is, though. The fact he has that Runic Bulwark already. He's taken 2 spears and a couple of kicks. He's quite happy to just defend that one off, but it's going to be Forellenlord once again throwing those spears, keeping the siege going.
And now I wouldn't be surprised to see Mithy go for a Chalice of Harmony at some point, because they do need some decent health regen. They have some for the Runic Bulwark. It does have a health regen aura. Mithy does have a good number of points in the heal, but having enough mana to keep his teammates sustained so that Alternate can't just say screw it and die the turret, they have no HP, that's important here for Lemondogs.
The seeming issue they have, though, is the fact that Tabs is wiping the wave out with that Piercing Arrow. The moment he comes in, Piercing Arrow straight down the middle, clears the wave, and Alternate, again, they're being pursued by the Lemondogs. This time we saw, again, just around the side, Mithy just at the bottom of your screen, ready and waiting to flash Crescendo.
And so here we go. It's just going to keep happening this way. This is the game plan, and it's going to be like this for 10 to 20 minutes. And actually, this will be a fun aside. I was talking to Alternate before the game started today, and they asked me, like, you know, what's it like casting? What's the games you like watching? And I said, you know, I really like the heavily action-packed ones. The ones that tend to be these long, drawn-out sieges tend to be the more annoying ones. And so Ara said, great, we're going to give you a 50-minute game, and it's going to be boring. And so here's Alternate playing a you know, we're not trying to fight, we're trying to poke team composition, so thank you very much, guys, for this game. But it's still a very, very close one. That's what's important about this one is, can they dodge the skill shots? Can they land them? Can the fight start for Lemondogs? Every battle is, you have to hold your breath for it, because it'll just happen and then 4 kills will just jump out.
And the irony is, this is the first time I've ever seen Alternate running this type of team comp. I don't think I've seen him doing a split push, poke, team comp, anything like that. Zoro0 going in there, going to try and get on towards Forellenlord. Thought he found position, doesn't get the stun though. And we do see Lemondogs, they're starting to be the ones to be the aggressors. They're starting to bully their way forward on Alternate. Alternate backing forward. It is a motion back and forward. It's just the mid lane. That's all they're playing. It's Aram right now.
Well, you can't win by being defensive. It's really impossible. So Lemondogs has to find some way in if they're to win this game. Although at the same time, you're seeing Alternate go in, find the siege, try to deal damage to Dexter right there. Amazing javelins like that on a Nukeduck, right? If Lemondogs only defends, then at some point 3 javelins land and someone dies and they lose a turret. If Lemondogs attacks, they can find some kind of opening, make a split push happen. Someone like Zoro0, who's massive, 247 minion kills. Someone like Nukeduck, who's now got a Lichbane, can kill a turret in 3 seconds flat. You get those guys to engage fights or split push and force your way into the base, and you have an opening to win the game.
We just saw the important steal. Of course, Alternate took it the last time around. It was Aaron here that got in this time, but this time it's Kurt with the blue buff. So those shock blasts, they're going to be coming faster. They're going to be coming harder. And they're going to be doing a lot of damage. But look at that middle turret. All this sieging they've been doing, they've done nothing to it so far.
Well, the engage is so scary. Look at Mithy's position. Mithy is holding himself on the right-hand side with an Oracles, so he's in the fog of war saying, if you push him too far, flash crescendo. And he is always a threat for that. Dexter the same. Flash, EQ, R. He can get into that fight. Tabs. All the summoners are up. All the ults are up. And this is the scary thing for Alternate. Until they force ultis or summoners out of Lemondogs, they can get jumped on from 1,200 range away, which is well beyond the range of someone hitting a turret.
Well, they take the Dragon down very quickly. They are still 1,000 to 2,000 gold behind, sorry. Lemondogs trying to find position, or Nukedog trying to bait them in there. Does throw the stun cards on towards Forellenlord. Catches him again with the wild card, but look, just the heal straight away, tops himself off, throws out those spears, doesn't find its home. Shock blasts continue to volley in there. There is a big wave on the bottom lane they're going to have to deal with, though. True Shot Barrage goes across. That'll deal with it.
That will deal with it. So a Muramana also completed here for White Knight. So the big breakpoints are done here. They've got the items that Alternate has needed to do the siege, which is why you see them group up instead of go back to the landing phase. They've got the important ones. They've got enough mana to keep spamming abilities out. They've got the full armor pen build here done for Jace. He's got 25 cooldown reduction from items. Forellenlord's going to miss a jump over the wall, but he'll get it next time. And with blue up, he'll be able to siege incredibly well, and they'll return to this.
Just goes to show even the highest elo players in the world still make those mistakes. We do see a Lich Bane, though, from Nukedog, so he's going to be doing damage on those turrets if he gets a chance to bide his time, to split across there. We haven't seen too much split pushing from the Lemondogs because they're having to deal with this siege. This time, Zora Zero did go up, chunk out that top wave. Still got that 50 CS advantage over Kerp. Kerp now with that last Whisper completed. He's going to stop that one off. And Mithy buying his time right now to get that ward control around the Baron.
And so an important thing here, and you mentioned the split pushing here for Lemondogs, because I still think that is a good choice for these guys. The one sort of facet, though, that keeps Alternate in is that Kerp is actually scaling up his dueling power right now. He's getting points into that hypercharge, and with the Muramana on there, with the armor pen, and his next item likely being a BF sword going towards Bloodthirster, he's gonna have a much better time fighting 1v1 against Zoro Zero. And so sort of the time is almost limited for these Lemondog guys.
Lemondogs just waiting, biding their time. Alternate weren't gonna buy it, and Nukedog took a spear to the face, which means Alternate realized they said that landed, that found its home. Let's push this mid lane.
Here we go. They've got the minion wave as well. The bait for Baron didn't work. Actually, Alternate just wanted to push down the mid lane turret. Not deal with that. Shock Blast comes out to scout, and they see Dexter's nearby. They've got to run through the acceleration gate and likely back off.
They do try and poke again. There is only 3 members of Lemondogs coming out the side here, but Alternate are so wary. They know what happened last time. They do throw out that True Shot Barrage. They do clear the wave. Lemondogs may well have to give up this turret at last.
It's down very low on health, so Tabs and Nukeduck, can you hold Q and land it correctly against the minion wave? Because here comes the push that they would go for. Dexter has been forced back to base. Here comes the push in. Minions losing health, and they're not going to quite go for it.
White Knight got one single shot on that tower. It didn't go for it. He just managed to
peel
on it. There it is. Finally it goes down. It took them, what, 20 minutes to get that turret, I think? We could be on for a long game.
We could be on for a long game here. 7-5 the kill score, 4-3 in turrets. Game is definitely very, very close, but the problem is Lemondogs, they feel too afraid to start something here. The game will stay like this if Lemondog doesn't make a move. You need hard engage to deal with poke, and they have it. They've got Jarvan, they've got Twisted Fate, and they've got follow-up, and Zoro Zero gets caught.
Zoro Zero stood on that ward. Oh, the hook came through, but quickly Dexter goes to interrupt it. Crescendo comes across, laid on top. Chain of Corruption comes in as well, but it's Alternate that keep and get away. Why not? Oh, no, that got stolen away. Forellenlord actually drew the red buff away. Instead, he missed it to try and get the life steal, which meant he went down to the Ignite. Tragic, tragic stuff there. So that's going to be the AD carry going down, but Forellenlord's not giving up on this one. Throwing out the spears on Dexter. It's the bottom turret that went down to minions as well during the process, but it's Lemondogs with the kill.
Yeah, Nidalee is so good at actually running around in these like weird 1v4 situations. She's so quick and is so long range, it is very hard to lock her down. So this is kind of the game plan here, is that, and you saw it last time with the Dragon kill, they lost Jayri, and Alternate still took control of Dragon in like a 3 versus 4. This is the same kind of situation where they're still holding Lemondogs back because of how hard it is for them to deal with the Nidalee. So Lemondogs finally found the engage they wanted, right? You saw that fight finally come through, and you should be seeing that so much more from these guys. I feel like they've not played against Poke much in a while because it's so hard for them to find the openings they're looking for.
How did he miss that spear?
He's moving between attacks.
He didn't move.
He thought he was going to move between attacks.
Oh, preempting.
That's mind games right there, man.
It's the counter to
Almost
the counter.
everyone walks between attacks. Like, even when there's no one on screen,
Yeah.
you normally like hit, okay, backwards, and they stutter step. And he didn't this time. It's Jukes.
Jukes, yeah. I'm just going to stand still and mind game you. Nevertheless, it is still
That's
very
better skill
close
shot.
between these two. It's 1.6k. That's all the difference is. 4-4 in turrets, still very close. 35 minutes approaching. And of course, no Barons being taken. And honestly, neither team really has shown any interest in going for Baron. They haven't really got a great deal of wards towards it either. Zoro though, continuing that farm. He's got himself that Zhonya's Hourglass now, so now he's going to be problems. And I think he's going to probably be more aggressive here as well.
It's very, very likely here. So, you know, we did see Lemondogs try for Baron briefly once, and it actually allowed Alternate to run down towards the mid turret and ultimately get the siege if they wanted up there. There's finally the split push coming in for Nuke Duck, though. Pushes the top lane wave out, and that's going to force someone to defend this. When they go, Lemondogs can run down the mid lane and say, deal with us or we get a turret.
We see the Shock Blast. That seems to be all they're going to use to defend it, and they quickly trot straight back to that mid lane. A lot of ward placement from both teams, but really in their own jungles. There's nothing on the side of Lemondogs. Lemondogs have full vision control, honestly, of their own jungle. And again, it seems they're going to be a little bit of a standoff.
It definitely, this is sort of the weird thing is Alternate doesn't ever want a real team fight, so they're always going to be the ones playing defensively, which is ironic, by the way, because we normally consider them the aggressive team. And it's weird too because Lemondogs like to play late game. They like to wait around for the game to scale up, for them to get a bunch of items and say, great, now we're in our home turf. So like almost both these teams are happy to wait around not picking up a team fight because they're more comfortable if there's not a team fight yet until 45 minutes in. Lemondogs, I think, have the longest average win time of any team in the European LCS, right? When they win late, and they win the latest. So both these guys, I guess, saying, yeah, okay, great, you're playing into our hands, but only one team's going to win this game.
Despite the fact that it was Lemondogs, actually, they did win in 23 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, they had one or two.
They have had a fast game, but you're right, they have got the longest average win, alongside EG, I believe, who will be coming up with Meteor Makers after this one. Not gonna get you guys too excited about that one.
Another 40-minute game, or in your case, a 7-day game?
A 3-day, I think we were
3-day.
Actually, technically, yeah, I guess the World Finals was a long one. Zoro going aggressive, and that was
Great
straight away
kickback.
play there. Kickback from Aranea as well, followed up. So everybody going defensive. That's the ulti down, though. It's a pretty quick timer, so don't think they're going to be too worried about that just yet.
Yeah, Zoro can't be the first one to go in. If they had led in with Crescendo, then Zoro flashed in, and Zonius before Aranea could come back, they'd have the engage they wanted. The problem is Zoro can't go first, but they're going to find Ara.
They're going to go Ara. They are going to throw the Dark Passage out. Quickly gets drawn away. Where's Nuke Duck going to go with that ultimate? Simply using it for vision, it seems. Not going to jump away from that one. Dexter does get caught with the kick. Aranea is not going to follow through. But Aranea very low. He's going to have to get healed up. That's not a great deal of heal coming out from Ferelnor, though. They are going to stick around that a little bit longer. He's got that blue buff, so not too worried about the sustain. Not still landing those javelins on Zoro, though. Aranea again, he's looking for that kick.
I really like that Alternate are giving the blue buffs back to Ferelnor instead of Kurt, because he's not only poking, but also healing. And low cooldown heals are so important because of things like that.
Flash Crescendo comes in, a beautiful Cataclysm onto Ferelnor. He's got nothing left. Heals himself up. Is it enough, though? He does pounce away. J-Re gets away. Safeguard comes through. Piercing arrow lands. Finally, he gets locked up and taken down by Zoro. Now they're going to go on towards Aranea. Flash stun card comes out from Nuke Duck. They get on towards Aranea. He's taken so low, but again, the Safeguard manages to keep him alive. And it was just a 1-for-0 trade. Alternate looking to turn it back around.
And a lot of flashes were burned right there. More for Lemondogs than were burned for Alternate, so they can actually outposition the enemy team in this next fight. And of course, Alternate as well. Look at Mithy, he has no mana, whereas Ferelnor has a ton, so they can push forward.
There's a big star. Oh, Kurt gets caught out. Nuke Duck. Oh, the spear, if it would have found its home, would have got the kill. The spear does find its home. It gets Zoro. There's a giant wave on the bottom wave lane as well that Tabs has had to go back and deal with, which means Alternate, you can see on the screen, are going to get that dragon. The gold is still just 1,000 between these two teams. Very, very close, and the siege fights continue.
The post-fight for Alternate is better, right? We've said it a couple of times, and you saw it right there. They're so mobile. They've got so much mana. They've got so much mobility that they can run around, throw javelins, throw out shock blast, and get some kills back. and turn the map into their favor once again. And you see that time and time and time again. Mithy still needs some way of getting mana. Part of the reason that fight went so poorly towards the end was Mithy He was out of mana, had no more heals left, and Philosopher's Stone is simply not enough for him when he's got to heal half a health bar because of a Javelin. So he's going for more health, maybe a Shurelius here, which it's interesting because he's saying, you know what, screw the poke game. I don't want to deal with the poke game and heal up my teammates. I want to deal with the screw it, Shurelya's my team and go dive them and not have to heal anyone because you're all dead.
Aranea is actually deep in enemy territory right now. I think he's just dodged out of exit. He's like, Jerry, gonna need you to safeguard 2 here, son. I need something, some way of escaping, unless they're gonna try and get a throw on towards Tabs. They see Tabs actually in there, but they're gonna realize the rest of the team are close by.
If he ran to the left, they could try to duel him and force a flash out or something.
Oh, Kerp just got spotted by the ward, and look at this, Lemondog's turning aggressive. They don't realize that there's 3 members in there, though. That's all they have. They could turn this fight in their advantage. Aranea is still there.
And now he's alone. This is a little bit risky. If he has a ward to jump to, which he does, he's fine. Takes the Lantern instead, wants to save his last Ruby Sightstone ward, or maybe 3 left, I couldn't quite tell. But there we go. There's finally the split push here for Lemondogs. Nukeduck being very, very safe because there's everyone in the fog of war, but in general, it's very smart of him to be reserved here. I'm surprised they didn't give blue to Mithy or something. They're actually waiting for that so that Twisted Fate can pick it up later.
Yeah, that would be the first time they've got blue buff in a while as well, because that's been stolen away from them a number of times by Alternate, which is why they were lingering around there. And they wanted to get back on that one. We do see Friendlord. He's had to go towards the bottom lane to deal with the split push that is coming out from Nukeduck, and that may start causing problems for Alternate because they're all about being grouped, being a poking in there, and they can't be too far away from this one. They realize that Baron actually doing a lot of damage to Tabs if he tanks it himself. Which was started off by Aranea, just throwing that kick out, the hook getting thrown, not landing, not finding its target.
So here we go, Nukeduck, he's back onto the split push train, which again is a smart thing for these Lemondog guys, and now it's hard for Alternate because no one can easily deal with Nukeduck 1v1, so Alternate has to force an issue here. They've lost a turret, and no one's going to defend him here. They're saying, we're going to steal blue, we're going to go try to contest Baron, you've got to use your ulti to join us here, or we get Baron on you.
Well, he's going in towards the inhibitor turret. We talked about this in the last match. Is it worth it, the trade? Fnatic did the trade last time around. They lost. They took an inhib turret, but they lost the Baron. We're going to see whether it works for Alternate. They're going to try and steal this one away. Dexter getting hooked. He's going to get flayed away as well. Oh, Nukeduck gets in. Does get a tower down. They got the steal as well. Would you believe it? Dexter has managed to get it away. They are going to get all killed. Chain of Corruption comes out. Tabs is merely using that as an escape tool. There is one death. It's Jerry that goes down, but that is an inhibitor taken down. Oh, the damage coming out towards Friendlord there. Gets that piercing arrow. Where is Nukeduck going to go? He's just going to back off. I tell you what, he could have carried on that Nexus turret.
He potentially could have. Ezreal finally back right now, but you're right, he might have gotten at least part of or maybe all that mid turret. So a 2-for-1 kill, and that's just, it's because it's a 5v4. The team is strong enough. They've got some healing, they've got some disengage, a great exhaust used as well. Freljord's exhaust, as well as J-Reed's exhaust, saving the team during that cannon ultimate. But Baron for 2 turrets and an inhibitor, and a 2-for-1. That's a very tricky trade to deal with. So now, honestly, Alternate could siege against the super minion wave, and that would be okay for them. Sieging bottom, I think, works all right. They don't want to siege somewhere else, though, because there's a ticking clock of bottom lane is going to push into your base. You've got to deal with this.
Yeah, they're going to have to deal with that big chunking wave coming towards them. Like you say, it's probably the ideal lane to go towards, but the fact that the Baron was stolen away by Lemondogs means they are maybe going to be the aggressors. Nukeduck in this mid lane, he's got the wave clear, and they could keep on pushing. They could go up that mid lane. They've already taken the inner turret out, of course, in that mid lane, but it looks like the top is where it may be. Tabs is starting off the flow. We're seeing everybody backing off. Zoro and Nukeduck, they're going to buy themselves a couple more items. Zoro, by the way, is very strong in that top lane. On his own, he's been effectively out-farming Kerp the whole game through, and in terms of items, it's obviously going to be very different because it's an AP versus an AD. Oh!
That was on purpose.
That was on purpose. I was just thinking, hang on a minute.
Yep.
And White Knight, yeah.
And here's the interesting thing as well, because, so you're right, Lemondogs actually were the team that got Baron. I called that one wrong, but it's weird because they've been so pensive to dive fights. I'm curious to see what they really do with the Baron map. They've got 2 minutes of it left. They're certainly stronger on the map. They're up 5,000 gold or 4,500 gold. They're wearing a Baron buff. They've got a hardcore initiator on Jarvan. They can follow up with Kennen and Twisted Fate. but will they do it here, or will they play the sort of siege game themselves and wait for minions and wait for split pushing?
The split push seems to be working because, again, look at Nukeduck. He's pushed a big wave on towards the inhibitor turret. He's waiting. He's delaying. Is there anyone coming towards me? No. Why the hell not? Well, I'm just going to go straight for your second inhibitor turret. And he's just delaying around there. Super minions, meanwhile, in the bottom lane. Alternate have to deal with this one, and they surely have to accept the fact they're going to lose his inner turret.
And a lot of the reason he's not able to push faster is because J-Ree has bought an Oracles. He's actually not allowing Lemondogs to have ward coverage of the transition between top lane and mid lane, so that Nukeduck never knows if he's safe. However, the team is stronger. They are getting control of secondary turrets.
Yeah, White Knight had to back off. He managed to clear out those super minions off the Nexus turret, which bought the time that Lemondogs required. And again, the split push works. It seems to be doing wonders. Nukeduck is wiping out those waves. You can see
they caught Brown Lord.
They do catch him out, and he just got melted. There was no doubt about that one. That piercing arrow doing a lot of damage. The shuriken's doing a lot of damage. And now again, you can see just in that split screen, Nukeduck continuing to throw out the cards, continuing to do the damage. And there is the turret going down. The second inhibitor turret for Nukeduck.
8-4 in turrets right now. They're going to look for number 9, the last inhibitor turret still standing right here. And that is... it's so good for Lemondogs. They're still running around with this Baron buff, and that actually does so much for them, because normally health regen is the thing that is your limiter on how much you can push against poke. With a Baron buff, it's a lot easier to do so.
Well, the inhibitor, the second one has gone down. The inhibitor turret about to go down. It'll be the third one of the game. They try to go aggressive. They hang on just about, but they got super minions on the Nexus turrets again here. Alternate are just being played like a deck of cards, and it's going to be Nukeduck on Twisted Fate that's doing it. That's going to be another turret finally going down. 5 members of Lemondogs grouping in there, and they're going to have to disengage, so they just caught the True Shot Barrage.
They've taken just enough damage, and the Baron buff is timed out, so Lemondogs can't stay for this anymore. Now, how much can Alternate chase? How many acceleration gets can they land? How much can they dive in there? You're seeing Alternate just try to dive forward. Aura lands a Q on the minions to push forward as well, but no, he's getting pushed back too much. But at the same time, they're getting flanked a little bit by TF.
Well, he thought about going in. I think that was simply, yeah, there were definitely discussions between, it's like, no, I could do this, guys. I can do this. He hadn't got us on his hourglass, so he couldn't do that magical moment. But look at him. He's got that. He's a stun card ready. Always realized there's 2 of them there. Probably not the thing he should go for. Has got a ton of damage. We're seeing a Warmox just come out from Tabs as well. Interesting build.
It's got health regeneration on it. This is actually really, really smart, because he's already got magic resistant armor because of his teammates, because of that runic bulwark. He knows that if he takes a javelin to the face and a shock blast right after, he's got basically no HP left, and those champions going to keep scaling up. Black Cleaver's done for Curb. You've got now basically 4 ability power items. If you count the Needlessly Large Rod, it's 80 AP. It's pretty high. So there's massive damage coming in towards Tabs. An extra 1,000 health helps him stay alive when he gets bursted down, and then he heals 1% of his max health per second through the Warmogs as well. So yeah, it's really, really, really useful just to have the health and the regen to survive poke.
So the Lemondogs, they're starting to look very good here. Alternate, their poke comp may well be backfiring on them. Lord almost getting engaged upon, taking half health, heals himself quickly up there. But that was all Dexter doing the poke. Zoro0 just off the side. Sonya's hourglass is up. We're going to see Nukeduck also back in that top lane. The only inhibitor, in that top lane. The bottom one, of course, has just respawned. They're going to try and engage. Zoro0 takes the spear, backs off, but that inhibitor is going to go down. It's going to be another one picked up by Nukeduck.
And they're going to go back in for the bottom one as well. The hook doesn't land. This is probably going to be 3 inhibs down. Lemondogs have just found the exact game plan they want, but the poke lands.
The poke lands. Miffy taken very low. They're going to have to disengage. A flash comes out from Perennial, gets the exhaust there, but the Chain of Corruption lands from the side. Sonya's hourglass comes out. Another Sonya's hourglass. That follows straight up there. Cataclysm is ready. Dexter jumps in there. It's back and forth. Tabs and White Knight going head to head. So White Knight, though, with that Banshee's Veil doing the damage from the side, he's just picking off the rest of Lemondogs. Dexter's going to try and get away from this one, but there's super minions absolutely all over the base of Alternate right now. They're going to have to deal with this one, or they may well start losing Nexus to it. You can see the inhibitor. That's gone down to minions. Dexter just simply delaying the fact there. Look at those towers. They are also low. RNA desperately trying to defend them. They should be able to protect the turrets, but they are all so low now right now. Nukeduck wasn't involved in that fight.
He wasn't at all. This is going to be such a rough situation now for Alternate, because they don't have anywhere to really go with their item builds. They're pretty much done in terms of buying things. So normally you're like, okay, well the inhibs are down, you know, as long as you have somewhere to scale, you can maybe, you know, throw it out by the very end of the game and just try to get to that 6-item Tristana or the big Kog'Maw or whatever, but there's nothing else really to buy for these guys. Killing a bunch of minions in your base doesn't help them really anymore. Once you get about 65, 70,000 gold, there's nowhere left to go aside from the support, and good luck getting J-Re farmed enough to matter. So Lemondogs can happily kind of wait this out and play another push when their people respawn, and they'll be great for it.
Absolutely, and looking across, Tabs just about to respawn. Everybody in Lemondogs will be back up. The Baron has spawned. Lemondogs honestly have massive positional advantage to go for it. We see White Knight went for that Banshee's Veil. Kind of helped him in that last fight. He had great positional, actually, in that last fight. So Alternate, after winning that fight, maybe, just maybe, they're thinking, okay, we can clear these waves. We can maybe try and shove them out.
They can try to shove them out, but they don't get to contest for Baron. The base would die too fast, and unless he had a dedicated defender, but they're trying to fight Baron 4v5, and that won't work either. So Lemondogs will get this one for free. And honestly, with Super Minions flooding in, plus the Baron buff, this is Lemondogs' game right here. They are the more powerful team. Their team fight is stronger, and now that the poke isn't hurting them anymore, they've got Sona with decent mana regen, and she's actually now getting a Null Magic Mantle. She actually might be getting a Chalice at this point, but with Baron buff itself, they've probably got enough to get away with getting poked at and still team fighting afterwards.
Looking to try and land that stun card on Forellenlord as he wipes out that wave in the bottom lane, but the rest of the team, Lemondogs, with that Baron buff, are starting to push in the mid lane. The double super minions coming in towards the base of Alternate. They're desperately trying to defend this one off. There's this inhibitor respawning in the middle. The top and the bottom, of course, were taking around it in the last push. Are we actually going to see Nukeduck joining them? Yes, we are. So 5 members of Lemondogs this time. True Shot Barrage used out. Everything being thrown out, but nothing seemingly working for Alternate.
And Tabs gets poked down to like 2/3. He lost 1,000 HP, and you couldn't even tell. He's healthier than the enemy AD carry. And here comes the push in with Super Minions. This could be the game.
One Nukeduck goes down. One Nexus turret goes down. The second Nexus goes in. Cataclysm comes out. Lemondogs dive in. Crescendo layered on top. It's going to be J-Re taken very low for Forellenlord just off the side. Doesn't matter. They went straight for the Nexus turret. And the Lemondogs have managed to pause another upset here. They've got a vengeance for their loss at DreamHack. Fantastic play for them. And that really shakes things up at the top of the table once again. Everybody is beating everybody this week.
They really are. Lemondogs now in the top 3 after this game, and that's a good place to be when you're one of the new teams into the split. Maybe they didn't get a lot of respect coming in here, but you look at this and you're like, yeah, they're definitely here to show. Alternate with the loss moves down to a tie for first with Gambit. So the top 5 teams are, what, 1 game apart at this point? 1 or 2 games apart. They're all so close together. You're going to see the teams get, continue to be this close. Maybe they'll shake up next week in Tenerife, but at the same time, Lemondogs, that game is so interesting for them because they took it to late game. They're the late game sort of team that we see here in the LCS, the most successful late game team at the very least, and they waited out a poke comp so patiently. I kept saying, man, when are you going to split push? When are you going to split push? And they said, don't worry about it, guys. We've got this. We'll split push later on when we're scary enough, we've got enough items.
Absolutely fantastic stuff by the Lemondogs, and that really does bring it closer. They're now actually equal with NIP. NIP on a charge, Lemondogs on a charge as well. They obviously, don't forget, they absolutely smashed Gambit last week. They've gone 2-0 this week, I believe, Lemondogs as well. Yeah, they beat SK Gaming yesterday as well, so fantastic stuff. That really does bring the standings very, very tight. You've got both Gambit and Alternate losing today, Fnatic losing today, so the top 3 have all lost. We've got the middle ground all winning. We've got the bottom all winning. Everybody's got closer again.
Yeah, and of course the last match here today is going to be Meet Your Makers versus Evil Geniuses. That's going to shake up one thing as well. If EG wins, they actually make another 3-way tie at the bottom of the standings. They're at 6 and 9, so you're going to have a tie for first, a tie of the next 3, and then a tie of the next 3. And these are all just a couple of games apart here. So that's pretty much the only match left to see if we get closer in the standings or farther apart. So
you heard Peke talking about it as well when they had the interview on the couch. I'm like talking about EG, talking about basically the teams down the bottom. It's like, well, it's not really a bottom right now. You have a good week, you have a good run, and especially you got to think the last week is a super week. That's 5 games, and how stacked these teams are right now, that is getting scary times because we've just passed the halfway stage.
Yeah, exactly. So here you are, and a 5-game week, just for the math right now, would bring you from a 3rd place team to the 1st place team, or bring you from a, tied for 6th into a third place team. Like, you can go anywhere, really any week here. You've got just so few games separating you guys as well. So, and because they're all trading games back and forth, you can look at one win and say, okay, this team is doing well, but it's really the story. These teams are all very close together. They're all very close in skill, and you'll keep seeing them shake up as the weeks go on.
Well, it was a long, drawn-out game. There was a lot of siege potential from both teams, but it was Lemondogs that came out on top. Let's go over to Jason, who's going to break it down for us.
Thank you for that, Demon and Freak. And what a game it really was. It was a little bit slow, but that's kind of what you expect out of that Poke composition. But Lemondogs, we've been talking about them. They told us they had a new strategy built up. They're starting to do some new things, and they really proved it right there. You really have to give them a lot of credit. But the replay we're going to look at, if we can get that on the screen, is just the first real team fight we see break out, and it's just kind of the effect of Lemondogs and their whole composition. So I want to point out a couple of things. Ultra is the one to engage this fight. They go straight for Dexter. He tries to get away. They pull him back in. But look on the minimap right now. We have Mythy. He's waiting at that Wraith camp to get over the wall for Crescendo. We even have in the top lane Zoro0 coming down to go for a kill here. So let's roll the replay and kind of show you how it kind of develops. Because Tabs is going to land an amazing chain of corruption that makes it so they can pick off Jerry. Now we're going to pause it right here. And I mentioned, you know, Zoro0 on the top side coming in. He's saying to his team, go, go, go. We want to fight this. We want to engage. As we start the replay up, you're going to see him come in. He does get exhausted by Feral Lord, so he kind of gets shut down a little bit, but it doesn't matter in the end. He zoned out Feral Lord, not letting him do damage. You see Dexter go into the backside against Kerp. He ends up getting away, and they just chase him down one by one, and the whole thing was Freak and Demon were talking about, a Poke comp. If you get behind, you kind of stay behind. You want to get up in gold. You want to get strong early on. And you want to keep that lead, because if you can't poke, if you're being forced to be engaged upon every single time, then you're going to end up obviously losing the game. And you got to give Lemondogs a lot of credit right there, because of the whole comp they had, it was really hard to get engaged on. But Dexter, you saw Varus working really well together to really lock them down, really create the plays. And in the end, they won the game. And they're starting to really change up the whole standings, because right now it's anyone's game. But in the meantime, that's it for me. We're going to be heading over to Shox, who has an interview with Zoro0.
Thank you very much, Jason. Congratulations, Zoro0, on a great game on Kennen. Now, talk us through the picks and bans. They had poke-heavy comp. You guys had a decent amount of poke yourselves. How did you deal with it?
The way we dealt with it was kind of the hard engage we had in our comp. Like, we had Sona, we had Jarvan. Like, that was our only possibility to, like, win the game, and our split push from TF.
And you were very key in that win, because you dropped behind early game as a team, but you, as Kennen, were doing very well against Jay. So talk us through that matchup.
Yeah, I managed to build up a CS lead. I think I had like 60, 70 CS lead. And only because of some good trades I did, and also because Kennen is so good in the 1v1 matchup.
Right, and talk us about that Baron steal. It was Nukeduck with TF doing that, and how important it was for you guys to get that one.
It was so important to get that Baron steal, and there was the moment that I know we would win this game.
All right, congratulations once again, and good luck on your upcoming matches. Is there anything you want to say? Like, you guys were very ambitious in the beginning of the season, and it seems to be really paying off. So with those 3 spots that are up for the World Playoffs, do you think you can get one of those?
I think, as we look right now, and how much we improve every week, I think it's a big possibility we will do it.
Thank you very much, Zoro0.
Thank you, Shox.
Now, coming up next, the Evil Geniuses and MYM are 2 teams in desperate need for wins to get themselves back on their feet. But only one can end Week 5 with a victory. We'll find out who right after this short break.